including Oregon State and Washington. Oregon State on the road here. Oregon State -2, and the total 56. Got two good quarterbacks. Do you know that the Pac-12 so far has the quarterbacks in the Pac-12? I want to say this. This is what it. I'm going to see if I can call this up here. The quarterbacks in the Pac-12 have a 41-1. 40. They passed for 41 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's all the quarterbacks combined in the league. Not bad. So this is the Pac-2 championship game. These two teams a couple weeks ago, they were ready to. I think they're still going to sue the remnants of the Pac-12 conference. You'd think that they should get some money out of those other schools for leaving them hanging, right? There were probably bylaws and stipulations and contracts and everything, but it doesn't seem quite right. And now the Oregon State and Washington State are going to get stuck with all the bad teams out here in some weird conference. So, but both teams come in undefeated into this one. Man, you remember when you look at Tagovailoa right now, I mean, it looks like a pretty good decision. This is what he should have been doing all along. Stay on the West Coast. This is a good matchup, man. Oregon State, not good as a road favorite, though. But they don't, they're not road favorites very often. This is Oklahoma. This is Oregon State we're talking about here. So I know there's some sharp guys certainly on Oregon State, but I'm probably going to be on Cougs. Probably going to be on the Cougars here. Taking the points in this one. Cougars won last week against Northern Colorado. They had 718 yards. Okay, I know they were playing the Bears, but 43-point victory. Also, Washington State, now they get a chance to be a home dog once in a while, and they've covered 6 of their last 8 times, including once already this season. Remember, Wisconsin came in here as a 5-point favorite, and then Washington State got the upset. So I hate to there's some sharp guys, man, on Oregon State. I can't believe I'm going to be against them here, but I'm going to be on Washington State in this one. I'm going with the Cougs. I'm going against Thomas Lewis. Oh, my gosh. That rarely happens. That rarely happens, doesn't it, Tom? Right? I always joke like, oh, Thomas just waits for my – not that you would ever do that. I'm always, Thomas just waits for my pick, and then he goes with it. No, it's because we're on the same side. We're good handicappers, but not this one. We're going against each other, Thomas. And I'm going to take Washington State. This should be all, I just feel like it's almost a coin flip, and I'm getting the 2 points is kind of what it feels like to me. Let me also do want to check if I can. Just bear with me one moment. I think I typed these lines. I was planning for a show with Mindy, you guys, and I typed in the matchups days ago, and here we go. So current 2.5 now. 2.5. I'm getting 2.5. You can grade me at 2. And total here 56. Open 54.5. Moving forward, I might be just going live with I don't know. I keep saying that after 2 weeks, but Sundays at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific for sure. I'm going to be on live reciting the opening lines from the Circa and the immediate line move from the Circa. Maybe I'll come on, but really it's just me doing play-by-play for 5 guys, so or gals, but not enough traction maybe with that show. But I'm going to be here for those live lines. We're going to record it and chop it up, and I think it is interesting. So go back and watch that video if you can here on Tony's channel. I think it's called Sunday Football, but there's another one where it's called Opening Line Moves, and in this one, just to mention, it opened 54.5 and is now 56. I'm going to take Washington State. Let's move on to Arkansas and LSU. All right, In this one, the Hogs are getting big points, minus 18. It opened minus 17. The look ahead for this game over the summer was like 13 and a half. So it's been a pretty significant move, especially with what we've seen right now from LSU a little bit and their kind of growth offensively with my man Daniels. Uh, I like Daniels. I hope he continues to progress. Can they get a blowout victory? No, I don't think so. I think I'm more interested in Arkansas here as an underdog. Like I said, open. Is it still? That's 17 and a half right now. Let me update that. Let's give a fair price here because I want Arkansas in this one. Plus 17 and a half. The total is down to 55 and a half. And the total opened 55 and went immediately up to 57 and now has gone back down to 55. So I'm interested in the Hogs here against LSU. I do like Daniels. Moving forward, I like him. No doubt. But I just think this is going to be too many points. I feel like in this one. I think the Hogs stay in here. Next up is Memphis and Missouri. You have two teams undefeated here meeting. Both teams are 3-0. This one's being played in St. Louis. So not quite a neutral site. I'm showing Missouri is down to a 5.5 point favorite in this total over the last couple of days. Like I said, I entered these. So you got a little bit of reaction to these line moves from a couple of days ago. It's all the way down to 51.5 here with Memphis and Missouri. I think that's getting. Look, it opened 8. We were on the air when it opened 8. It quickly moved down to 6, and now it's under that key number of 6. I already was interested in Missouri in this one. That's probably going to be enough to get me on Missouri here. I would think in this one. I know Memphis isn't going to be happy with the situation. There was some hubbub about the playing of this game. Missouri was going to actually pay Memphis to cancel the game or something to that effect. So these teams have played before. Was it 5 years ago? But Missouri did win by 32 points, and in that game, both teams were 3-0 at the time. So I'm not saying it's going to be a repeat performance here. Memphis is rested. They beat Navy 10 days of rest, not an extra week, but they beat Navy, remember, 28-24, but they were 13.5 point favorites. We were on Navy in that one. Now, Missouri's coach, he's not too good as a favorite, but I'm going to have to look at it here from the perspective of getting under that key number of 6. I liked Missouri already. Memphis does pretty well against Power 5 teams and could be a dead spot for Missouri. And I'm sure maybe that's why sharps are moving on Memphis here, but I'm on Missouri. If you're playing a non-conference game, I don't know what that hubbub was actually. Thomas will say take Missouri. I think Memphis, they were willing to pay to get out of the game and move the game or something to that effect. Here is a great one. Sure, we'll all be checking this one out when Ohio State goes into Notre Dame and is a field goal favorite right now still. Yeah, total is up to 45.5 and feels like they're, I feel like the move might be correct here, even though it's moving higher. A little bit to my chagrin, I would actually say. But the Buckeyes here -3. need Mindy right now to be Queuing this one up. All right, here we go. This is pretty much where it opened. A few places, yeah, it's touched 3.5. There was, a few places maybe it even touched 2.5. It quickly went back to 53. The total opened 51.5, was immediately bet up to 53.5, and now obviously sitting at 55.5. So the line over the summer was Ohio State minus 7.5, but man, I mean, this is like a new Notre Dame almost. I don't want to say the offense is back, but it's been looking good. They met last year in Columbus. It was the first time the teams had met in oh 55 years, 56 years, something like that. It was a great game. Remember, Notre Dame led 10-7 at halftime, but the Buckeyes scored 2 touchdowns in the second half, and Notre Dame couldn't get going at all in that game. They had just 72 total yards in the second half. 21-10 was the final, but the Bucks did not cover. They were favored by 16.5. Ohio State put up 562 yards in that game last week against Western Kentucky. They won by 53 points as a 30-point favorite. So the Buckeyes are second in college football, allowing just 7 points per game. Really looking good, but now you're taking on Sam Hartman. Who'd have thought? Maybe Notre Dame should be the destination for all these quarterback prospects from around the country. You don't want to end up at some school where it looks like they can't find quarterbacks anymore. Maybe the tide is turning here, so to speak. Notre Dame 6-2 against the spread as a home dog. Doesn't happen very often. Maybe once a year, maybe. They have a pretty tough schedule on some time, other than the usual suspects that come in. They'll have a big game once in a while at home. This is it. You want to beat Ohio State here for sure. So they need a statement win for this coach. Feel like it's going to just be a nail biter. It's going to be so close. I was talking about that total moving higher. It feels almost like it's actually getting away. Maybe I want to trust the defenses a little bit. I won't go all wishy-washy, I don't think, but I might be on the Irish here in this one. Getting a field goal, probably be decided by a field goal, one way or the other. Hartman's it's not like some, like Notre Dame prospect quarterback that ends up going to some other school. That's why Hartman's here. Everybody knew coming in. Hartman was, Daryl says upset. I wonder if there's an acronym for what Daryl is saying there. What upset, the acronym upset could stand for. Yeah, I was trying to think of something. All right. Iowa and Penn State. You got Penn State here, 2-touchdown favorite against the Hawkeyes. The total's 41. What? Are they only going to play a 50-yard game? We know Penn State's been pretty awesome, so maybe they're going to score the points and make this one go over. It opened 39.5, went all the way up to 41. Still feels like, how are they going to get there? Penn State used to pretty much win the games, but Iowa's been the one. Iowa's had success against Penn State of late. What was it? They came in here and beat them 3 years ago, 41-21, in like it was a pickup. Somebody was favored, but it was like one. I thought it was a pickup. And they went in here and crushed them. So, with the Lions so far, 3-0 straight up, of course, 3-0 against the spread. They're giving up just 12 points a game and holding teams under 100 yards rushing. Got McNamara, Beno, it looks like he's the guy. I mean, 2 touchdowns. Maybe he's the guy that can keep you in there, but he had only 103 yards. And Hawkeyes can't even pass the ball very well. Penn State's stronger against the run, no doubt about that. And I'm not paying attention to the whiteout. I mean, it'll look cool on TV. It's not going to be just as crazy there. I don't know. Maybe Iowa can. Iowa's got to put up some points. I want to take these points and go over, but I don't. But 41, just because Penn State's a big favorite is kind of why I want to go over. Now, if it was a game, maybe if it was in Iowa, I would be tempted to go under. And we've seen some crazy unders so far, but I don't know if Penn State we can get an under here. So I'm gonna go Iowa, and I'm gonna go over in this one. It's got to be a free pick. I mean, I can't consciously go over in a premium, could I? I want to go Iowa, take the points, and an over. Right, Thomas. Right. Well, let me see. Let me think about it. Right. So that's just it. When you're dealing with a total of 41, so you're looking at something in 28 to 10, 28 to 14, 31 to 14, 31 to 10, 31 to 17, 28 to 10, 28 to 13, 27-13, right in there. Can Penn State get 4 touchdowns in this game? And some field goals, that would take it over. I'm going to take Iowa, and I'm going to take the over in this one. Interesting matchup here, Central Florida and Kansas State. Got Kansas State here favored in this one, -5. And the total has gone down considerably over the first couple of days of the markets, down to 53.5. 4-point move to the under, and K-State falling underneath that key number here now of 5. All right, let me grab this one, you guys, with Kansas State at home. 5-point favorite, total 55.5. This one opened Kansas State -8 and has steadily been bet down now to this number. It opened 8, was immediately bet down to 7. Steam came in, went to 6.5, now 5. That's good enough for me. I want Kansas State. I like the fact that this has moved in the direction that I'm looking to get involved with. I prefer the Wildcats here in this one. Look, the steam came in on Central Florida. I can respect that, but Kansas, to me, you got a Kansas State team. This coaching staff, it looks like it's been a seamless transition here so far over the couple of seasons, right? Kansas State and over here. This total, it opened 48.5. No doubt there was some problem here with that, but it was immediately bet up to 55.5, went as high as 57.5, and now is back down to 53.5. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe there was some personnel issues. Plumlee, I don't know. I could check it right now. I mean, I don't think he's a situation with Plumlee or anything. I mean, we know we've seen him on the list, but I don't want to waste too much time here. I'm almost done with the show. Appreciate you guys. I'll be smoother tomorrow, okay? All right. Well, I was hoping to get a little bit of data here on the injury report and see if because that is a pretty wide move on the total. Plumlee's okay, yeah. And well, this service is listing Plumlee is out with that leg injury. I guess he is. So things have been a little hectic, let's just say. And we know that Will Howard, we already knew that he was questionable. So maybe the total's high. I mean, this is Kansas State at home. They do have a number of players out in this game. So That's probably where the move has come. I don't know. I want Kansas State. I'm not worried if some players are getting disciplined or whatever the case may be, but I think I've got the coaching staff to handle it a little bit here. Oops, Thomas said Kansas State. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to take Kansas State here in this one. And finally, more Pac-12 action. I've been joking for 2 weeks now about no wonder the rest of the conferences want the teams from the Pac-12. You got the best quarterbacks in the country. Look, we knew I'm not necessarily a West Coast honk because I'm, an SEC guy. I know I know things are slipping. I know the landscape is changing, and maybe it's already been changing. And the West Coast, they haven't gotten their just due in all those matchups, and that's why the Pac-12 was fighting so hard. Why they ended up in the situation that they're in, I'm not sure, but a lot of teams are going to be getting more exposure, and I expect Pac-12 teams to go in and be strong teams in those new conferences right away. And maybe just Oregon State and Washington State can find a way, and show this season what they're made of. But they're without a home. I'm not sure any of these other conferences are willing to open their doors now, given they've loaded up on all these teams. But all right. Anyways, Cal's been the big surprise this season. Let me check this line too. Yeah, it's down to 21, and the total 59.5. But maybe it just goes to show you. I mean, even Cal, we talked about how hard it is for Cal to, work the transfer portal. A little bit more difficult for Cal, but maybe not. And it's 3 touchdowns. Total's been dropping to 59.5. That's scary. I like the under. I like the under for sure here. But Cal's done a great job so far. They beat, North Texas. They beat Idaho. I get it. Not great, but they lost at home to Auburn, but they covered in that one. So, meanwhile, the Huskies, they've been pretty strong. They're averaging some big-time points. They're outscoring teams by like 5 touchdowns a game right now. They beat Michigan State on the road. They crushed them, right? Now, Michigan State's got all these issues, so they were not ready for that one for sure. Penix, Mindy said before she left, Penix, she rated him very, very high, and why not? Again, just these Pac-12 quarterbacks in general. He has 4 touchdowns in that game last week. Last year was UW winning 28-27 as a 7.5 point favorite. Came real close to the number. Washington's very, very good, we know. But Cal has found their way into some success here as well. And Cal 13-3 against the number as a road dog over the last 5 seasons. So I'm on Berkeley. I'm on Cal. I might as well just give out the under as well right here on the show because 59.5. It opened 64.5, was immediately bet down to 62. Then saw 61, now down to 59.5. So let me just give it out as a free play right here, right now, on the new morning Steam show. And that'll wrap it up, I believe, unless anybody else. Sometimes we'll talk about more of the landscape of sports that I like to as well, that I like to cover. Some tennis action, soccer, of course. Not today, but I know there's some great soccer, some great matchups yesterday, certainly. We're not covering championship leagues here necessarily. We're covering picks in domestic soccer here on Tony'sPicks.com right now, major domestic leagues, but not UEFA Champions League. A little bit, we're working on that, but try to get you some plays maybe somehow, some way, because I had a pretty strong day yesterday in that as well. Of course,